Hello, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast, Spiritual Sense. It is Sunday, January the 9th, and so we're going to proceed with the daily reading for today. So I've already did my prayer, and I pay homage to my Orishas. And for those who are out there, Orishas are deities that you can call upon to assist you with everyday things, practicality type of things, spiritual things, as such. The three Orishas that I favor is Bassett, Yamaya, and Shango. Those are the three particular Orishas that I like to pay homage to. And you could pay homage to your Orishas by number one, acknowledging them. Acknowledging your Orishas. This is a day-to-day practice. Just like you get up and groom yourself every day, you want to pay homage to the Supreme Being of all being, God, and whatever Orishas that you are working with. And I particularly use those three Orishas because, number one, for prosperity, increasing knowledge, capability, protection, and wellness. So out of the three of those Orishas that I particularly favor, each one provide a combination of that in addition to other things as well, okay? And so, I do have a episode of podcast with a new podcast that I started. It's about 2 weeks now, which is called Ancient Ancestry, where I go over some of the Egyptian deities. And the Orishas and the deities are pretty much one and the same. Okay? And so, with that particular podcast, I won't just focus on African history, but I will be incorporating other customs and belief systems into that podcast as well, okay? And I think I'm going to record on some more customs in regards to African history in regards to that podcast later on today, okay? But this podcast is Spiritual Sense. Before I proceed, I'd like to state that this podcast is for entertainment purposes. That means if just so happened that some of the things that I mentioned in my tarot card reading is applicable to your life, that may be by chance or even by happenstance, okay? That means I don't go probing and prying into anybody's personal life in order to use it unfavorably towards them. Some things will just happen to happen in life, and when you begin to work with spirit and spirituality, many times it will become apparent to you as such, okay? So, today I'm going to do a integrated tarot card reading. I do tarot card reading different than the average person. I think that's what makes the tarot card reading so unique. It's when you begin to make it your own, okay? When you begin to get into tarot card reading, you will notice how the spirits will correlate to your thought process, okay? The brain is engaged a little bit different, a lot different than, regularly, particularly when there is a tarot card reading that is spiritually led. Your brain is engaged totally different. You just have to get into that mode to understand that. So in this podcast, I go over things in reference to paranormal, supernatural. I speak on topics such as angels, demons, hauntings, curses, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, in addition to the tarot card reading. Okay, so this is an open social podcast in regards to that. Okay, so I'm going to proceed with the first deck of cards. I typically work with the Celtic Cross, which is a 10-card spread when I do my tarot card reading. Okay, so I am cutting my cards now, and I'm going to be working with all 3 of my cards, and I may work with the Moonology and Angelic cards for today. Okay. So what I'm deciding to do, or what I decided to do, I should say, is I'm not going to do a webinar with my tarot card reading. But if you want to follow along, I do let you know which tarot cards I'm working with. Typically, when I do the tarot card reading, I may read the card verbatim, or maybe something in reference to what's in the picture of the card, or the number or letter. And I have some tarot card reading music in the background, and that's just a little thing for me to know to keep my tarot card readings under 25 minutes. The music is 25 minutes, unless I'm, led otherwise. Okay? So let me proceed. The first deck of cards I'm working with is the Secrets of the Tarot card, which I got from Five of Below. It was $5. Okay, so we're going to say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I got those cards spread out, and I'm going to go ahead and pull all of my cards, and then I'll proceed with the reading, okay? The next group of cards is my AE Weight cards, which is my second most favorite cards. So I'm going to proceed to cut these cards now. So when you begin to get off into tarot card reading, it's all in what you make it. It could be realistic. You can incorporate positivity in the cards if it's something that presents that is negative. You may want to use tact in providing that information. But we have a way of speaking away negativity by what? Offering a positive solution, or as positive but realistic as possible. Okay, so I'm going to spread those cards out now. Okay, so we're going to say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the next deck of cards that I'm working with are my the Psychic Tarot deck cards, which was the first cards that I purchased. So I'm going to proceed with those cards now. And I might have to restart the music back over, because it looks like it's going to go over. May go over the 25 minutes. Okay, so let me spread the cards out. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so Father Supreme Being of all being, give me infinite knowledge, wisdom, capability, understanding, and insight as I do this reading. Okay, so I'm going to proceed to lay the cards. I have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so for card 1, I have 5 of Pentacles. Delays around money coming in from the cold. This is a card that has the older woman kind of slumped over and a man with crutches. So we're going to see if that reading is applicable to something in relation to what's on the card about how the other cards lay. So this is what the reading is on. What crosses over or what the obstacle is, we have 9 of Wands. Undecided, needing to take a step out of the situation, then you will see more clearly. That's what the obstacle is. Card 3 is the Hangman Card, getting stronger in oneself. That's a lot of deliberating and delaying in your life. Card 4, I have 8 of Swords, frustrations, feeling bound and gagged. That's the root of the issue. Card 5, I have 10 of Cups, happiness, good things, party or celebrations. Card 6, I have young man to 25, speedy situation or finish. Right now, I feel like this card is in reference to health related. I honestly do. I feel like this is a health related card right now. I feel as though this reading is in reference to someone or some persons that may feel as though that they're afraid for their safety is what I feel. As I speak, I'm picking up on the spirit of, I feel like an older male is what I feel right now. I feel as though he feels like because of some bad decisions that he made in his life, he's being tormented, and also that he's being held against his will, and he was targeted. He says that they got me in a place in my life where I was alone and I was disgruntled, and they targeted me is what they did. And as a result, they harassed me, and I eventually relented. That's what happened. He said, I just broke down and I moved forward with it. He says, let them know that communication is the key. Many of us choose not to speak and choose not to communicate because we grow tired. He said, but let them know that that feisty fire that's ignited in us is to get us to communicate, is to get us to what? Speak up for ourselves and not allow, our circumstances define who we are. This is why a lot of us, we grow tired and we begin to not speak up for ourselves. He says, but tell them that despite whatever popular belief is, that we need to communicate, we need to speak up for ourselves, and we need to engage in ourselves because we are being targeted, is what he says. The attitude, King of Pentacles. It says, man over 25, dark eyes and dark hair, business, arrogance, and powerful. He says a lot of this is coming from arrogance. When we have become beside ourselves, they target us more. He said they target us more when we get beside ourselves. Just to turn around and to tell us to not say anything. And when we begin to speak, then the first thing they want to do is bring us down. He said, but even still, know when to speak. Don't just give up. Don't give up and allow Satan to break you. Don't sit back and let them pick on you and them defy you or get you in a place where you let them take over, because they will do it. Card 8, this is what's surrounding 5 of Cups. Money losses, all is not lost. If you look behind, you may have something to salvage. He says, so this is why we have that fire, that instinct in us. This is why we have that instinct in us, because, it is not apparent to many people, is what he says. He said, this is why we have that instinct in us. They'll put it on money, has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with money. The money and the things and the materialistic things is a distraction. It's a distraction. That instinct is for us to fight to the fittest. That means to fight to stay alive, to fight to remain. That's what that fire is. Card 9. Knight of Cups, young man to 25, needing more confidence. He says, we are learned as a younger age. They use these tools to cause us to do something, to turn around and band against us. He says, so this is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. I'm going to use these images to ignite fire just to turn around, and a whole bunch of them came against me. It's what he says. He says, so you cannot believe everything that comes into your visual field. You cannot believe everything that presents out in the atmosphere. You got to have discernment. And once you have gained that insight, God will make it apparent to you how spirits and spirituality works. Let them know this is what that is. Oftentimes when we question things, God will put us in a mode to where, okay, this is what it appears to be. This is not necessarily what it is. Because when we see things differently from what we're accustomed to and what we have been conditioned to see, then we will go through the test. And God has to show it to people who has that ability to see it on a higher scale. Oh, he's just going through the test of time. They refer to it as a phase, to get you to understand it. Card 10, 8 of Pentacles, work, paid work. He says, so many times through the works that we do, this is how we're able to gain insight, is what it says. So I'm going to proceed with the next cards, which is the tarot cards. 10, 8 weight tarot cards. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so for card, I'm going to read it backwards when I go to the second card, okay? So we're going to begin with card 10, and this is the second group. It's an integrated tarot card. So for card 10, I have the Fool card. He says, so the Fool, this is why a lot of us, it may appear as though we don't know. That is just, it's because we have gained insight on how spirit and spirituality works. You can never judge a book by its cover. And when you are mature in the spirit, you will know who knows versus who don't know. Card 9. I have 5 of Wands, which is a whole bunch of battles. He said we are in a spiritual battle. And this is what that is. It's a fear, because card 9 is what? Hopes, fears, and dreams. He said, but we are in a spiritual battle. This is true. It's a battle of the mind. It's a battle of spirit. And you begin to see how that manifests out into your physical being. Many people may refer to it as crazy, but this is God enlightening you on how spirit and spirituality is. So card 8, this is what physically surrounding. King of Wands. He says, so once you have begun to see things on a higher scale, God will enlighten you by way of even the very animals. Because as it mentions, you are above even the animals that presents out, that has come into creation. Card 7 I have 10 of Swords. He says, this is the attitude that many people want you to have, that everybody's against you and everybody's trying to backstab you and keep you down, and this and many of the times that's what it appear to be. But once you begin to see that the battle is in spirit, we blame it on us, meaning us as human creation, but the battle is from another plane. Then a lot of us will know, that a lot of us will begin to see. You're not crazy. We use these terms to distract and fool the spirits, because a lot of them are demonic, and they will fall down off of another plane into this plane. And you will see it and you will know it. Ain't nothing crazy about that. So that's why we have to go along and play along with them, because this is what they battle for. This is what they thirst for. They like to see drama. This is what they crave. And once they plane into our physical space in this time and space, you would know what that is. So card 6, which is 8 of Cups, which has a male that is walking off. You want to remove them away. This is the key. You have to stay grounded in spirit work and spirituality. This is how you diffuse away those spirits. Card 5. Card 5, I have 2 of Pentacles, which you have like a jolly that has the infinity sign with the 2 pentagrams. He says, so there is a tricking of the spirits. That means there is a deception of the spirits, because this is what they look to do: steal, kill, and destroy. So we as humans, we got to get on one accord. We got to get on one accord, is what we're, despite whatever our color are, cultures are, or what have you, we have to get on one accord, because this is what is transpiring right now. It is a battle that is occurring in another plane, and they manifest into this time and space. 4, what is the root of the issue? 10 of Cups. Okay, they're looking to what? They're trying to break up happy homes. That's what they're trying to do. They're thirsty. And if you begin to see the 10 of Cups with the 8E weight, it's a husband and wife and 2 children playing happily. You have a rainbow with a whole bunch of cups up in the sky. So that's me. This is how I'm reading it. They're thirsty, meaning they're wanting what you have. So when you begin to take on certain impressions, this is God alerting you as you do. This is what they do. This is what they do in the spirit. And they begin to manifest in our space. And the biggest trick is to fool us to thinking that it's us, but it's actually them. Card 3, Magician card, which has a man holding up a candle, double-ended candle with the infinity sign. So this is me letting you know that the Magician card, as I mentioned, is in reference to an illusionist. Okay? It's an illusion. Give me just a moment. Let me put my music back on because I feel like I am on to something right now. Okay. It's an illusion. Meaning, it's not what it appears to be. It's the point. I am the illusionist. I will send those who will enlighten you as to how it works. Okay? Card 2. Card 2 is 8 of Wands. These are spirits falling down. These are spirits. They manifest into your time and your space. It's what they do. Card 1, Temperance. When I get that card, oftentimes it's in regards to tolerance or even acceptance, whatever you can accept, or a test. So this is the test. He says, this is what I want you to get out, is that this is the test. This is the test. This is how they test us. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So for card 10, as I mentioned, I'm on my third integrated cards. I have Rejoice and Celebration. That's oftentimes in regards to celebrated or celebrity. In other words, something that I put up. He said, this is what I use. I use extravagance to show you how spirituality works. You will see it by way of as they refer to as a celebration or celebrity. You will begin to see the spirits in an astronomical big top, so to speak. There is a message within that setting, and you will begin to see how the spirits show up. Fear. Okay. Hopes, Fears, and Dreams card 9. I have Shadow card. He says, so I use this to enlighten you, to show you spirits, is what I do. He said, this is why we have it. I have things tagged, and it happens as such, because you will begin to see it. You will begin to be able to see both sides. You will begin to differentiate what is actually darkness versus the light. It will manifest to where you will know the difference. Okay, card 8. What is physically surrounding? I have new beginnings. He says, so things are going to be anew to you once you begin to receive that inclination, that spiritual hiatus, that epiphany. Things will become apparent to you as to why this is this way, why that is that way, why I paired this way, why I paired that way. As I mentioned in an episode that I did in regards to feng shui, you will begin to see why certain letters look the way they do and shape the way they do and put together the way they are. Why certain things are the way they are. I will give you and enlighten you as such. So card 7, fulfillment of wishes. Okay. This is the attitude. This is the spirit realm manifesting into your physical realm. You got to be able to be strong, meaning you got to be able to not necessarily fool each other. You need to be on the same path, is what I need y'all to understand. You need to be on the same path. You need to be together. Because that's their job. Who is they? Those spirits from another plane, from another time and space. They manifest into this time and space. They have been summoned. A lot of times they have been summoned into our time and space, and they're looking to do just that. Their job. So you have to be the one to be able to differentiate. what is and what isn't. Card 6, patience. He said if you sit back and just study things and pay attention, it takes time. It takes time for it to grow. This is something that, your everyday walks of life, people are not going to be able to grasp unless they have received counselship from a prophet or prophetess. Someone that believes in them and are able to give them or to lead them to that spiritual awakening and awareness. If they sit back and take the time, I will give them awareness. I will give them the ability to discern. And we get over here to awareness. I have awareness card for card 5. He said, once I enlighten them, then it will expand. Their third eye will expand, and you will begin to see things on a higher sensibility and a higher understanding as to what is transpiring. You will begin to see it for what it is. Card 4, solitude. This is the issue. He says, I want you to know this is the issue. When they get you alone, they will make it appear as though you are crazy. And if you believe you are crazy, then that's what it's going to be. But if you begin to look at it from a different aspect of it, through awareness and self-consciousness, you will see that I will even use the mere things that they say are crazy to enlighten you. So you're going to see things when you're alone, when no one is around and no one will believe you. You will understand that. This is how spirituality works. Card 3, stand your ground. He says, I want y'all to stand your ground. You as a people, meaning the human people, the race of people. The human race is what I'm getting at. You need to stand your ground. Because these spirits are real. They are real. And many of us can be inhabited by it. And when we begin to do things out of our temple, out of ourselves, we'll be susceptible to those spirits. He says, don't do anything in gluttony. Don't do anything in overindulgence. I allow these things for you to do so you're able to what? Grasp the understanding of why I mentioned that you should not overindulge in these things. What do I mean by that? Eating, drinking, whether it be alcohol, beer, liquor, whatever. Smoking, sexual activities. Everything is in moderation. And when you do take on these things responsibly, you will see what the after effect of doing those things will cause to you. This is a battle of all of us as humans. Because these spirits are real. He also says that's card 3. Card 2, the barrier or the obstacle. I have mental conflict as the obstacle or barrier. He says that the mental conflict, again, to get you to believe everything you see. To get you to believe everything that you see in this physical manifestation. And God will enlighten you as to what that is. Oftentimes, as I mentioned before, we go through phases in life. That means God is making us aware of the repercussions of our actions. This is not necessary to judge you. This is not to judge you. Is to enlighten you. Because some people can see things in others and not have to go through the test to understand that. And just know, okay, I will refrain or I won't do it. But it takes certain people who are hard-headed to actually get an insight. They may not necessarily do the worst off or worst case scenario, but I will use a substitute to give you insight as to what a person is dealing with. That is the test. I don't have to go do drugs to understand how bad off drugs are. God will use food, sex, cigarettes, drinking to make me aware of the correlation of the two. Card 1, the Sacral Chakra. So this right here is what we're doing the reading on in reference to the Sacral Chakra. The Sacral Chakra has a lot to do with what? The spine, the sacra. Okay? So I feel like this reading, it's a personal reading that's coming from someone that I had a relationship with. Not necessarily a relationship with, but was in a company with. And this is his spirit coming through, giving me this insight. Okay? To enlighten me, to enlighten those that are out here about how spirit and spirituality works. So that is a personal message to me in reference to the Sacral Chakra, because the Sacral Chakra has a lot to do with, I want to say the spine. Give me just a moment. Let me pull up some information. Okay, so it does have fear of death. It has a lot to do with your sexuality, creative expressions, emotions. Give me just a moment, and I'm going to pull up what physical things the chakra is associated with. Okay, so it mentions about entails the sex organs and kidneys. Is what it mentions. So anyways, this reading is in regards to those areas. We want to get focused on those areas. I feel like that is a, it involves the health of the abdomen, pelvis, as well as surrounding organs. So we want to make sure we are doing things in regards to that energy, to get that energy restored. Okay, so I am going to close out this episode of Spiritual Sense. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.